Does Bigfoot really exist? That's an often asked question that I don't have the answer to, but if he does exist, I know that he would approve of this e-bike right here that I'm calling Bigfoot. It's by far the biggest e-bike I've ever reviewed. If you want to see what this beast is capable of, then continue watching. Welcome back. So this is the Birch Grolar, or as I nicknamed it, Bigfoot, for obvious reasons. Now, just to show, this is a step-through bike, but it's still a large step-through bike. It's still a big step, and I'm 5'11". This is how it looks to me standing on it. Now, it is standing up on its, not even a kickstand, it's more like a scooter stand. It's a dual stand that keeps the rear wheel up in the air and allows you to spin the wheel like that if you want to, if you're cleaning the chain or something like that. But it's a large bike. If you are my height or taller, this is gonna be the bike for you, including an ultra heavy payload of 400 pounds. But there's more than just that. So for the specs and features, this has a 48 volt, 25 amp hour battery, which powers dual 750 watt motors, has a 9-speed Shimano gear system, top speed of 28 miles per hour, although I have reached 30 miles per hour on a top speed test. Up to 85 miles of range, that is on single motor use, pedaling with a lightweight rider. Realistically, you may get 50 to 60 miles under those conditions. Stopping power is hydraulic disc brakes. It rides on 26 by 4-inch fat tires. The combined total weight with the battery is 109 pounds. Not only does it have this unique scooter stand like you would see on a scooter or some motorcycles, but the coolest feature for this bike, though, that I've never seen on a dual motor e-bike is it has a torque sensor. You guys know that I love torque sensors. It's the most realistic feeling to traditional pedaling. Allows you to control your speed better. But not only that, it does have a half twist throttle as well. So you could pedal, throttle it, single motor, dual motor. And this is considered a hunting bike, namely for the front and rear racks. I call it a camping bike, exploring bike, all around an adventure bike. But there's more to learn about it, so come on over. Like usual, we're gonna go left to right, top to bottom, front to back, covering the bike. So over here we do have nice textured rubber grips, cool looking pattern on it. They do feel great, plenty of support when riding. A couple of buttons and switches here. So we do have a plus and minus with some icons on them. So we do have a headlight icon and a foot or walking icon. So plus and minus is your pedal assist, 1 through 5. Long pressing the plus button will turn on the headlight. And long pressing the minus button will put it in walking mode, so it'll assist you with some motor power, so you're not pushing just a pure weight of the bike if you have to push it or walk it somewhere. Right here are your turn signals, and then below that is your dedicated electronic horn button. Now on the inside, there's 2 additional buttons right here. So the top button is a power mode button, and then there's an I or an info button right there. So to power the bike on, all you do is long press that power button. Now there is a reflection, but you can see the screen there. And it's a pretty neat color display. It actually does change colors with the pedal assist you're in. So right now we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And this display has everything you need to know. So it has 2 graphs here for your power output of the motors, indications of 500 and 1000 watts up there, which does peak out at. There's 2 little circles there, which shows it's in dual motor right now. Miles per hour, trip, which you can reset. It does stay on when the bike does shut off. You could also go between miles, max speed, average speed, time, and your battery percentage up there. And of course your 1 through 5 for your pedal assist. So everything's on there, including below it, right there, is a little flap. If I could get it open here. Yes, right there. It's probably hard to see, but it's a Type-C USB port. So yes, you can charge your phones while you're riding this bike. Come over to the right-hand side. You do have your 9-speed Shimano gear system. It is a ratchet type system, and your half-twist throttle right there. And then here's the horn. And just below that, before we move around front, we do have air-filled shocks. You could fill it up with air right there and control the stiffness or compression right there. Now coming around to the front behind the display, you got plenty of landscape on your handlebars to put a phone mount, bottle holder, whatever you wish to use. Nice big bright headlight. Again, long pressing the power button does power in the headlight, and it shows really well at night. And then below, in front of that, is your big front rack. So if you are someone who's going camping, hunting, adventuring, you have a lot of room to strap things on here with some cargo nets, bungees, whatever you wish. And down here, we do have our large 26 by 4 inch wide fat tire. Some guards there for the cables. And of course your front hub motor and brake rotor and caliper right there. Coming over to the side, this does come with keys to unlock the battery. So the keys go right in there. Unlock it and twist that right there. The battery does pop out. If you want to charge the battery while it's in the bike, you could do so by accessing that port right there. Moving on to the seat. The seat I will give a 4.5 out of 5. It is nearly perfect, although I do find it after about 45 minutes of riding a little bit uncomfortable. I think that's probably the case for most seats. If it was just a little bit bigger, I would give it a 5 out of 5, but 4.5 out of 5. It's plenty plush, has the shock suspension underneath it, so it's going to give you a cushioned ride as well. So even though it's a hardtail design, you do have some suspension and cushion on the seat. Rear rack right here, plenty of room for saddlebags, milk crate, whatever you want to put on there. And back here is going to be our brake light, tail light, and turn signal housing right here. So it's one module design here. So when you do power on the headlight, the tail light does come on, and hitting the brakes, it does light up even brighter. And then with the turn signals, they do illuminate on both sides. It's definitely visible during the daytime, but especially visible at nighttime. And as I said, I always love seeing bikes having those, because whether you're riding in the woods with friends or in an urban environment, people need to know when you're stopping, what you're doing as far as turning, and even for illumination and safety measures, having more illumination and lights on your bike is always a good thing. Now, I have reviewed other dual motor e-bikes, and typically to switch from the front to the back motors or dual motors, it's usually a certain button that you press multiple times or long press it. This one is a bit tricky, at least at first. So I'm going to demonstrate how you access the menu to change the motor. So you come over to your info button here, the bottom button on the side, you long press that, and it's going to bring up your settings. So there's different options here: display, advanced settings, information, exit. So you want to come down to advanced settings. You're going to hit that same I button to confirm that. And then you have different pedal assist levels, wheel diameter, speed limit, so on and so forth, sensors, even sensitivity. But you want to come down to drive mode. Right here has the icon of a rider on the bike, and there's a few different options. So when you hit the I button to select that, you can use your plus or minus to select or change. So there's FR, which is front and rear, just front, just rear, or auto. 9 times out of 10, I do keep it in auto. It gives me the right amount of power when needed. On flat level surfaces, it'll show you that it's mainly using the right side or the rear motor, but then when needed for acceleration or climbing, the front motor does kick in as well. So it kind of balances it out, but you can have full control over the motors that you're using. It's just that you have to come to a full complete stop in order to access this menu. Now, after riding it for a few weeks, I did come up with some thoughts on it, both good and bad. So it is a great bike, but it's not perfect. Nothing out there is so far. But there are a couple things I did notice I really like about it. A couple things I think that can be improved upon. But namely, it's just a huge bike. It's large, it's long, it's tall, it's a big bike. I will say, if you are a shorter individual, say 5'8" or shorter, you may have a difficult time with this bike. Even though it's a step-through design, it's a big step through, it's a big bike, it's heavy, and it's going to require some effort to get on it, get off it, load it up on a bike rack or in the back of a truck. It's not going to be as nimble or as compact as other bikes out there, but it's not intended for that. It is a big, rugged bike built for Bigfoot pretty much. All right, here we go. Riding along the old Erie Railroad tracks here. And with all the rain we've been having, the trail is a little bit sloppy, muddy, messy, and a lot of puddles, so can't go too fast, but with dual motors, we'll be able to manage nearly anything we come across. So right now I'm just cruising with throttle, and the throttle is full throttle, full speed, no matter which pedal assist you're in. So if you want to cruise at 5 miles an hour like this, or if you want to take it up to near 30 just on throttle, you could do that no matter which pedal assist you're in. And just to demonstrate, I'm just going to kind of juice the throttle here a bit, and you'll be able to see that we could accelerate. Kicking up some mud on me, but that's okay. It is an adventure bike. But again, you have throttle at your fingertips. But what I like even more, as I already mentioned, is I can put this in pedal assist 5, which I just did. Now I can pedal nice and slow, and since it's not a cadence sensor, it's not going to send full power output from the motor. It's only going to give me the amount of power that I'm putting into the torque or pressure of the pedals. So I'm pedaling right now in gear 8, pedal assist 5, going 8 miles an hour. And if I want to go faster without using throttle, all I do is pedal harder. And there you go, you have instant power just like that. So I absolutely love torque sensor bikes, and having a dual motor torque sensor bike, first one ever, I think is a game changer. Now you may hear a little bit of noise. That is the front rack that does make some noise when you do have something weighted on there. It doesn't make that noise, but you may hear some clicking or knocking. That's all it is. Everything is tight and secure, but since it is protruding out and there's a lot going on with the front end over certain bumps and bounces, it does make a noise. But the bike itself is relatively quiet. You do hear the motor, but it's not obnoxiously loud. But let's just do a little bit of cruising here. We're gonna take some different trails, find some hills, and just demonstrate how capable Bigfoot really is. And just to do kind of a brake test too, we're gonna get up to speed here, and then hard brake, great stopping power. All right, so we're gonna take a little trail here off to the right. Not a smooth manicured trail, but a trail I do feel confident going on with this bike. Oh, there's a hubcap. So we're just gonna take it nice and easy. There's some tree branches crossing the trail. These big 26-inch tires, roll right over them. Even this soft dirt, leafy material, I'm in full control right now. And I'm gonna come back up the same way. So coming down is one thing, coming back up is another. And we're just gonna show that the dual motor really does make a world of difference in environments like this. We're gonna come down here to the real steep part here. There we go, we're down here on another trail system right now. So in order to give myself the best advantage, I'm gonna switch to dedicated front and rear instead of just auto. So I'm gonna go back into the setting here, advanced settings, drive mode, FR front and rear, and I'm going to use just throttle to get out of here. I'm not going to go super fast. I'm definitely going to have some wheel spinach, not spinach that you eat, but wheel spinning with the front wheel, just because the back is heavier where I'm sitting, but it's still going to give me some added traction. So let's see how well it does. So far so good. Nice controlled climb here, just using throttle. Okay, with the steepest part, now this is the messiest part with branches, rocks, and leaves and soft dirt. So I'm going to go over some of these branches here. No problem at all. That was probably the smoothest, safest, most comfortable climb up a trail like that I've ever done on a bike. That was a breeze. That was nothing for this bike. We're going to continue further down. I do want to find a nice, good section of trail to either climb or open this up on, get away from this muddy, branchy material. So stay tuned. We're going to find our next location in just a moment. I think I may have found my match. Possibly, we'll see. Just came from that direction, and down here is a pretty significant hill. It may or may not be coming through on camera, but it's leafy, it's steep, it comes up at a curve, and we're gonna put Bigfoot, Birch Grolar, to the test. I'm gonna keep you guys on this camera mounted up here for a side perspective view, and then I'll be riding on board with my chest camera, and you'll be able to see what I'm experiencing on the bike and how it looks from up here. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do it. Now, this is definitely gonna be a test. I don't know if it's gonna make it. This is a really hard task to conquer based on the multiple factors like the steepness, the curve, the leaves, the rocks. It's gonna be a challenge, and I'm not gonna be surprised if I do lose momentum or spin out or just get off course. But I'm going to try to give it some momentum, give it the best chance possible to climb this. So from right here, the hill's off to the left. I'm just going to go full throttle, hopefully make it up there safely. Here we go. I spun out briefly at the top. I think with a little bit more momentum, I can make it. We're going to try that one more time. We made it about 95% of the way. I think we'll do it this time. Look at that! Woohoo! We made it! Well, apparently this hill is no match for Bigfoot, as long as you go the right amount of speed. This was a challenging hill. Obviously I couldn't climb it right from the bottom, just not enough speed and momentum or power from the motors. But planning accordingly, give myself enough room to get up some speed and momentum to climb that hill with minimal effort. First time, front wheel spun out, lost traction. I said that might happen. Second time, perfectly climbed it up. Bigfoot is impressive. Right now I'm going to accelerate. I want you to watch the left and right side of the screen. You should see some green bars light up. That is showing the motor output. And the right one is the rear motor, the left one is the front motor. So it shows you how much power is given to you via both motors. So the main difference between auto and front and rear motor dedicated is the power output. So on auto, it's proportional. It gives you the power as needed, and the motor output from the front and rear may not be the same. It might be more from the rear, more from the front, depending on the environment, the situation that you're putting the bike into. Where on front and rear mode, dedicated mode, you get the same amount of power output from both motors at the same time. So that's the main difference between auto and front and rear. I do find myself riding in auto 90% of the time. Unless I'm on a flat rail trail, then I'll just keep it in single rear. But for trail environments like this, auto seems to be best because I could pedal, I could use throttle, I could get minimal power from the motors, and then if I do come upon a situation where I do require both motors, it's already in auto mode. And I actually have gotten a 40-mile ride on auto. So dual motors on auto mode, I was capable of getting 40 miles. If you have it on front and rear, you're probably gonna get a little bit less than that. If you have it on just single motor the entire time, you're probably gonna get more than that. I personally got 40 miles on auto dual motors on a single charge, which is a respectable distance for a dual motor e-bike with this type of battery capacity. This is such a big bike. but also tons of fun to ride. I do like this stand too. Nice and stable, but still use that rear motor while it's in the air. Like I said, ideal for cleaning the chain and cassette area. After riding this bike for a few weeks, there are a few things I do like about it and a few things I don't like about it. And to have full transparency, I feel it's my job to share them with you. But again, these are just my opinion, my thoughts alone. I don't speak for anyone else. The first thing is the battery. The battery capacity is fair, but it's not great for a dual motor e-bike. Having a 25 amp hour battery, if you're using this in dual motor mode, you're going to eat that battery faster than you would like to. Like I said, I did get 40 miles range on auto, front and rear auto mode. And that was just me pedaling a lot of the time, using throttle here and there, doing a couple hills. If you're on dedicated front and rear, you're gonna get probably less range than that. And depending on your weight, of course, is gonna vary your results. But I did get 40 miles range on auto with a rider my size, 5'11", 230 pounds. And having a larger capacity battery would be ideal for a dual motor e-bike. You're gonna wanna have enough range and enough power to send to those motors when need be and not worry about shortening your range considerably because you are using the power that is at your fingertips. So having a larger battery would be nice. If this was strictly a single motor bike or a lighter bike, I think the battery capacity would be fine. 48 volts is fine, 25 amp hour is on the smaller side. I would like to see an option or just come standard with a larger capacity battery. The second thing is, you may notice something missing here. There's no front fender. When you're riding in an environment like this, you are gonna get dirty. The whole battery here is caked in mud and dirt. That's not ideal, but there's nothing you can really do about it. I did ask them about it. They said they are manufacturing a fender as we speak. Whether or not it's gonna be sent out standard with your purchase, I don't know. It may be available as a separate option. It does have a back fender, but no front fender, so you are gonna get things kicked up at you. I definitely got dirty on this review ride here. So not a deal breaker, but if you're looking to stay clean, this may or may not be the bike for you. The main thing I really don't like is how you access the dual motor mode. On every other e-bike I've reviewed that has dual motor, even an electric scooter with dual motor that I reviewed, it has either a dedicated button for the motors, or you would use one of the pre-existing buttons and either press it a certain number of times or long press it, so on and so forth, to access between front and rear motor use. And you could do that while you're moving, while you're riding. With this, you need to come to a full and complete stop to access that sub menu and to go in to change from single to dual, front and rear, or auto. So I don't care for that because you're forced to come to a stop. And I'm sorry about wiping my face. I am sweating. It's really muggy out here and the bugs are out too. But having to come to a full and complete stop is annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. It's just something I did notice. If you've never ridden a dual motor e-bike before, and this is your first one, then it's just gonna come normal to you because you learn how to ride it through this bike. If you're used to having something that you could change on the fly while you're riding, well, this is gonna be something to adjust to. I'm not a big fan of it. It's not a deal breaker, so I do keep it in auto mode most of the time, or a single motor. If I know I'm gonna be in an environment though where I'm gonna be changing terrain and hills and inclines, I keep it in auto just so I know I have access to both motor outputs if need be. If not, I'm only getting a little bit of power and using less of the battery during that time. With that out of the way, there's a lot of good things to talk about. Some of them I did share as we were riding, but I do want to share just a couple extras. Number one, I do love the USB-C port. It's actually a fast charging port. I've had my phone on here down to about 80%, and in about 30-45 minutes it was fully charged. So it's a fast charging port. All you have to do is get yourself a cable and you're good to go. I do like having the front and rear racks. You have a lot of options. Even if you're camping, you can put your tent and a cooler, or vice versa. You could customize it any way you want, and using those elastic cargo nets really makes it easy to mount stuff on here without having to put saddlebags or even a crate on here. So a lot of functionality, a lot of capability for carrying cargo. On top of that, it could carry a super large load. This bike weighing 109 pounds, it's impressive that it could carry up to 400 pounds. So if you are someone my size or smaller, you could carry over 150 pounds of gear. If you don't want to carry gear and you're a larger rider, whether taller or heavier, if you're pushing close to 400 pounds, this bike can carry you. Just keep in mind, when you do carry additional weight, or if you're a heavier rider, that will affect the performance. But again, results do vary, but I think it is fair to say this bike will get 40 miles under most conditions. If you're fortunate enough, 50 or 60. Lastly, I love that this has a torque sensor. This is the very first bike, dual motor bike, that has a torque sensor that I reviewed, and it is a literal game changer. I love having the ultimate control over this bike, whether it be through the throttle or through pedaling. I reviewed all my other dual motor bikes, and pedaling, you just get that full power output because the pedals are in motion, and sometimes it's more than you need. I averaged 5 to 8 miles per hour pedaling in pedal assist 5, but instantly got to like 25 in no time just by pedaling harder. So you don't have to fiddle or navigate different pedal assist modes. You can literally keep in pedal assist 5 the entire time, and you're going to get the speed and power that you want just based on how light or how hard you're pedaling, or by using throttle. So I'd love to see more dual motor e-bikes have torque sensors built in. I absolutely love it. I couldn't say enough good things about it. Lastly, I just want to say thanks to Birch for reaching out to me and allowing me to review the Birch Grolar, as I nicknamed it Bigfoot. It is an overall fantastic bike. But hopefully now you know if this bike is indeed for you. If you want to get additional details and the latest pricing, as the pricing does fluctuate according to the market and the seasons, links will be provided down below. And if you think this bike may not be for you, well, you can browse my playlist of other e-bikes I reviewed, which will also be found down below. So thanks again for watching, safe riding, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.